Smart packaging is back to the main stage. Now, AIPIA, the Intelligent Packaging Industry Association, is coming back with the face-to-face events. The first one will be in Chicago, and the idea is to show how smart packaging can be used as a marketing tool. And I'm here with Andrew Manley, who is the communication director of the AIPIA, to talk about this event and to know more what's coming, what they will show there, and how is it going to help companies and executives to do better with their packaging, with the packaging of their products. Hi, Andrew, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much, Edson, and nice to be here with you again to talk about our exciting pair of events coming up in the near future. So fire away with your questions.
So the idea is, what are the expectations for this face-to-face event, which is coming in October 25th, right, in Chicago, USA?
Yeah, well, that's the first one in our calendar. We're very pleased to be back in the United States and partnering with our friends in PMMI to who host it for us, and working with our new partners, Packaging Europe. We've already got a great lineup of speakers. We think by far the best lineup we've ever had in the US. We focused somewhat on the marketing aspects of smart packaging rather than supply chain or security safety issues, because a lot of the big brands are still very interested in how they can better engage with their customers, and that can be to deliver very worthy messages about things like sustainability, etc. So it's about connecting with the consumer engagement, and along the way, of course, now that smart packaging is so multifunctional, if you like, you can talk about authentication and you can talk about anti-counterfeiting, but keeping the customers interested in your product is getting harder and harder, and America's a very sophisticated market in that respect. We've got some very interesting people from across the board, American companies, people like Aptar, Systec, Securicat, Digimark, of course, and we're looking forward to actually starting off the autumn with a very strong one-day event. This is just a one-day event, which is why we're calling it a summit. And we hope that we can engage the brands and as well as maybe people who are interested from the converting sector, who are interested in learning how they can offer more to their end user customers. It's to say that very much hasn't changed. It's just that we've now got a lot more people who are interested. There's a lot more application cases out there. So in effect, we hope that, and all the signs are, because we have a pre-registration system, the courtesy of our friends at PMMI, at Pack Expo, and that's showing every good sign of life.
And smart packaging, I would call you as smart packaging, one of the smart packaging popes in the world. we should have more than one pope in this case, but I think
I see.
But I think smart packaging is growing fast, and companies really need that to even to go through this crisis, this worldwide crisis we are passing through. So how do you see that? How companies can get more advantages with their smart packaging?
Okay, well, in a as you just alluded to, in a perverse sort of way, the COVID situation woke people up to the insecurity of supply chains, the fact they need more information, and it got consumers used to buying stuff in a more hands-off sort of way. So QR codes and e-commerce and stuff like that. And so they became a little bit more familiar with some of the technologies. The technologies themselves have not stood still in the 3 years that we've been messing around with COVID. Digital printing, digital twinning of products, with the software's become more sophisticated, the amount of things that are going on to data capture. We've just finished, or end of last year, we finished a project with Accenture, the big consulting group, who produced a very interesting report for us, which really showed that the amount of data around from smart packaging means connected packaging is extensive, but companies are still not using that data either enough or even in a very joined up way, because there's so many different silos of management and departmental issues. So one of the next steps for us are really about convincing brand owners or teaching brand owners how to use these things, and also helping, well, not governments probably, but certainly quangos and people, how to utilize some of the things that smart packaging offers to better inform people about the issues that are really of interest or imperative interest, like sustainability, like recycling, like reuse issues. The technology keeps on moving all the time. The costs keep on coming down on things like RFID tags. So blockchain's becoming still more evident as people understand it a bit better. I think still people are a little bit scared of blockchain still. They're not quite understanding it. So our process is not only promoting application and use cases at these events, but also to create a forum for lifting the level of understanding, lifting the level of recognition of the abilities of some of the technologies, and also, if you like, helping people network. It's one of the biggest things, as you do at your events.
That's right.
Helping people network. And one of the things that we've really been missing, not having live events, it's all, you can have wonderful virtual events, and there have been some great examples, hopefully including one or two of ours, but you can't network. It's not possible, and that networking is a vital element in moving the industry forward.
That's right, and face-to-face is the best way to do that, I think. And yeah, I was really missing that, because I think companies like the packaging industry, or even the manufacturers, they should talk and find their way to do smart packaging. As I believe, I think there is a gap between those kind of companies when they have to find a solution or to create a new solution for the smart packaging itself, or to combat counterfeiting, or to improve their communication with consumers, to have a better experience, or even to prove that the product is original, is authentic. So I think they should talk to find that the ways. I believe companies, and I'll ask you, which kind of executive or companies should participate in this event?
Well, I mean, we obviously always hope to get a fair dose of brand owners along, and the people from within those companies can be from a fairly broad range of packaging designers, new product development people, the marketing people, supply chain experts, because obviously supply chain has really become a major figure of attention over, certainly since, and now we have further disruptions due to unfortunately the war in Ukraine. in Europe, at least, although that's causing stuff. And we also have supply side issues, raw materials and things like that. So traceability, tracking stuff, and is very important. So, you know, certainly the brand owners, certainly people from the converting sector. We also want the influencers, the people who are making policy in terms of the kind of plastics we use, or whether we use plastics at all, how we recycle that better, how we can explode some of the myths that are extant about what packaging is for, how packaging is used, and obviously we also, because it's still a fairly young industry, we also want those people who are entering the industry, who are still wanting to learn about the potential of some of these wonderful products that some of the folk are producing. So it's a fairly broad church, but of course the key is that we have people from supply chain and brand owners who are going to be the ones who actually pick up the technology and use it in a customer facing sort of way.
Yeah, and the solutions can be used, the same solution can be used as a brand protection tool, or even a track and trace, or anti-counterfeiting, and also a marketing tool. So I think companies should understand that, and the best place to do that is to go to the event and find people there they can talk and see how companies are doing this around the world. And I think AIPIA does a very good job when you prepare this kind of event, and how companies can understand more about the event, and also executives can sign up to the event.
Yeah, I mean, marketing is a very broad subject, can mean different things to different people. You know, it's not just always about brand promotion. It can be, you know, multifaceted, and certainly now we have sort of people who are looking at allergen issues, or green issues, or environmental issues, or recycling issues. I mean, getting those messages across is part of your marketing mix now. I mean, which is why you've got people like Digimark, for example, who are producing stuff that goes on to plastics to make it easier to sort. But, you know, that's not as yet very customer facing. But if we can actually make more consumers understand, and as I say, that's part of using the smart packaging as a marketing tool, then they're going to be able to buy into the whole ecosystem of reuse. Particularly, this seems to be a more trendy thing at the moment than recycling, because I think some people have hit the wall on recycling a little bit in terms of capacity, and in terms of how you make people understand how best to recycle stuff. But reuse, you know, sticking it back into a reusable system, and we've got some really interesting examples of that along the way. Again, that is part of making the consumer understand those messages, as well as the great product that they're consuming or using as well. So if you like, even in the 10 years that we've been working, or 11 years that we've been working at IPIA, those parameters, those margins have gone out, or the story's changing. So, you know, it's an interesting time to be in packaging, because we've always felt that packaging should be part of the solution, part of the message, and act as a messenger, and not just protect and preserve the product. And it's okay, you know, if you've got your Mars bar, and it's got the Mars logo on it, that's promotion. But, you know, is it marketing it? It's just reinforcing the brand. Marketing's got a lot more deep than that now.
Yeah, and companies must, I think, the problem with the sustainability and all the there are studies showing that some reports. I saw one from Avery Dennison. Avery Dennison sponsored a study showing that this is more important now for people after the COVID pandemic, that companies have their sustainability shown to their consumers, to their customers, because this is a very important one of the items that people use to decide about buying or not a product. This is very important, and this is growing fast in the world. More than 50% of the consumers are looking to this kind of information to decide. And I think this is something that smart packaging can help a lot, don't you?
Yeah. And that's globally, really. I mean, it might be a bit generational still, but of course, even you and I, in me more than you, perhaps, we still know how to actually connect things with our smartphones now. I mean, I've just come back from India for a trip, and some places don't even have any printed material anymore. It's all done through a QR code. Even a menu in a restaurant. So, you know, we're all going to have to get used to this smart, connected world that we live in. And what the job of smart packaging providers is to make that easier and more understandable, I suppose.
That's right. And here in Brazil is the same thing. You know, everywhere you'll find a QR code to get in contact with the menu, for instance. This is crazy. And this is the new way. People must understand that our world is going through, and also the packaging should have this kind of information or this kind of interface to give people more information. And this is going to change the way manufacturers and brand owners will interact with their public, right?
Sure. And it's not just sort of QRs. I mean, anecdotally, I mean, we don't have any hard statistics on it yet, although we hopefully will do a more in-depth study on that in the near future on the various elements of smart packaging, like RFID tags or active packaging or QR, stuff like time temperatures and things like that. But all the anecdotal evidence, certainly on the QR, on the RFID NFC side, is that there's a big uplift in that too. So right. You might know a bit more of that with your IoP Journal and your association with our friends at RFID Journal. But certainly it does seem that in the packaging arena, and of course RFID is used for a lot more than just packaging, but certainly across the piece, RFID seems to be becoming much more of a ubiquitous product. So that's always going to be a good thing. And with more advances in QR, more advances in active materials, that's got to be good news. And it's not only good news for the industry; it's good news for the consumer.
That's right. Andrew, we could talk for hours about this.
Yes, indeed.
And I think the idea now is to show people that IPIA is coming back with the face-to-face events, and this is really good because I think the networking is a very important part of this process of knowing more about smart packaging, also having more solutions and using more this kind of tool to make people have their solutions or use these kind of solutions to protection, track and trace, anti-counterfeiting, and also as a marketing tool. That's the main focus of this event. So we could talk more hours and hours about this. And
well, we haven't really touched on the fact that legislation is now coming into force for the pharmaceutical sectors across certainly the Europe world, and America, but you know, there again, you mentioned it as track and trace. But you know, to get to your point, we're delighted to come back as a live event. We've sorely missed it. I particularly have missed it. I'm probably not a virtual guy. But you know, needs must, and we've made the best of it. But we're delighted to be. But you know, like everything else, and this is a plea out there to those folk who are listening or watching this. You know, live events need your support too. You know, we're putting in our effort at our end. So, you know, go and visit www.IPIA.info. Click on the events icon and you can see the live agendas of both the Chicago and the Amsterdam events up there, and just click on there and you can get a good cross section. Well, you get to see the speakers, the titles, and how to register, very importantly. Yeah. And if you're going to the American one, thanks to our friends at PMMI, it's an extremely good value day. It's only about $295. So, you know, that's nothing for the amount of information that you're going to get from that day. So we do hope that people will get off their chairs and get out there and come back and go live. That's a good idea. As you said, back on the main stage, back to where we all belong, and talking to each other. My friend Afe was coined the phrase right at the beginning of all our things: people do business with people. Yeah, and that's absolutely true. So we're really looking forward to October and November.
And to defend ourselves, I think our flesh is not virtual. So we have to be presential. Products are not virtual too.
But it served a very useful purpose in a time when we couldn't actually meet each other face to face. But that time hopefully has gone. I mean, we're all vaccinated. Well, I'm certainly vaccinated, and I'm pretty sure you are. So
I am.
Even if you feel like wearing a mask, we won't hold that against you. You know, you can still come.
Yeah, I would like to go. I have to find some money to do that. This is an international trip. But yeah, Andrew, it was a great pleasure to talk to you and to see you again with this power and this energy to make this event a very good one and make people understand what's coming in this smart packaging.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I should just mention that very recently we have signed up GlaxoSmithKline, one of the big pharmaceutical giants, to do one of the challenges that we're so famous for in Amsterdam. And there may be another one in the pipeline, but that one will go live fairly soon on the website. It's not there yet, but it will be. So, you know, brand owners are buying into these things.
That's good. Thank you very much, Andrew. And I hope this event goes very well and we have more things to tell about this event when it finishes. And if you want, we can talk again and then tell people what was new and you had there.
Super. My pleasure.
See you.
Bye-bye.